I would like to take you to our last artist and the last gallery just around the corner. We moved from Berlin to Hungary, yes? So our tour through Austro-Hungarian Empire ends in Budapest. This is the gallery of Ani Molnár, a fairly young gallery. And I also have to say that the private galleries world and community in Budapest and in Hungary in general plays extremely important role at this particular moment in the political context of Hungary. We all know what does it mean, the current political situation in Hungary for public institutions that basically disappeared. So it's a great challenge and a role in the hands and minds of private gallery. And we would like to conclude this presentation with the last position by female artist. This artist is called Sári Ember. Sári Ember was born in 1985 in São Paulo. But she moved very quickly with her parents to Hungary, and she's based in Budapest at this moment. She studied in the Academy Moholy-Nagy in Budapest. She studied photography, but what she is doing here with this installation is in a way a sort of extended photography towards three-dimensional environment where the portraiture, mainly portraiture as genre, is being deconstructed.
Use of the objects and its light and space, I think, is really interesting.
I think this is a very poetic assemblage of objects where one material morphs into another and the narratives collide. And also the functions of the materials, the functionality and dysfunctionality, design and an artwork become one.
You even have like the portraiture over here, but then it's kind of looking away, so it's kind of moving away from identity of the face, and you have the masks, so you kind of have that thread throughout.
Yeah. In a way, we can say, using the kind of cliche expressions, in the archaeology of the contemporary, in a way. So she moves from the certain archetypal aspect of a mask we all can connect to through our traditions of religion and ritual. It is, in a way, a ritual she's playing out here. And then this mask, this main surface of identity, we end up the identity politics with something that is becoming more abstract. So you see the kind of shift between the languages from those historical positions of Bertelmann, Sterback and Natalia Ellel to this subjective language that tries to introduce a sort of new vocabulary that speaks more collective language. I think this aspect is very important for many artists that are represented by Ani Molnár Gallery. The kind of plea for a new language of expression by mainly young artists.
I think the young voice is very appealing and very interesting, and it's nice to kind of start watching it now.
It's a very young voice, and this is why this young voice received a prize, which I cannot disclose what kind of prize, because it's not official yet. But you're gonna learn in 1 hour and a half what prize is going to be. So I'm really very happy and that we conclude this tour with you here at this position, which really promises the future. It's very much directed towards what comes next.
Absolutely, and I think to kind of start where we did with the historical and end with the current is perfect.
And, you know, we can now build so many different narratives. And now when I look at this through the lens of what we analyzed earlier, Jana Sterback and Renate Bertelmann, there is something voyeuristic, there is something exhibitionistic here. This is a performance of the self as well, yeah? Yes. And I think it's beautiful, you know, how the work of one artist can be enriched by our experience of the work of another artist, yeah? Definitely. And it's incredible that within this very close neighborhood, we have those positions of different generations within females, within a more or less a similar cultural background, although the fact that she spent some time in São Paulo is, I guess, important. And here your sense
so.
and your smell of the kind of maybe ritualistic, more mythological, softer aesthetic that is maybe typical for the Latin America. By the way, we can also speculate to what extent the work of Latin American artists and the work of Eastern European artists operate as arms to embrace Western art. And this is the speculation that I guess a year ago had been in a way materialized within the exhibition in MoMA, where some Eastern European artists were juxtaposed with the artists from Central Eastern Europe.
And there was a show recently at the Getty on concrete poetry, and there were strong connections between Latin America and people that were in Eastern Europe. So I do think it's a thread that people will probably continue to look at.
And I would like to ask Tracy, what had been so far your experience of Artissima, because it's your first time here, and how do you like? Do you think that this fair differs from other fairs you attended?
I do. I think probably my first impression was the collectors that I spoke with and how educated they are and how researched they are. And prior to the fair opening, how much knowledge everybody had was really impressive. And knowledge about galleries that I wasn't that familiar with, and I go to a lot of fairs. So for me, that was very impactful, and that was really, really interesting. And again, it's also exposure to other galleries that I wasn't that familiar with.
I can only agree with this, and I can only hope that you also agree with it. Yes, the question.
So you're collecting art, and what is the purpose of the collecting art? You say that in LA you support artists, so local artists. And what about here in Artissima? If you would purchase an artwork, do you want to resell it later? You want to exhibit somewhere later? What do you do with the art that you collect?
The art that I collect is in my home, and we entertain. So we have people coming all the time. We like to share our home. We like to share our art, and we also lend for exhibitions. I don't sell. Maybe one day I will, but I don't think so, because I don't buy it for market value. I don't buy it for investment. I buy it for me and my family, and we have it at the house. So, yeah, thank you.
And I want to thank you, because this was a very serious tour. So bravo to you all. I'm very impressed. This just speaks again about the quality of even the audience in Artissima, that you would go along on such a focused tour. I really want to thank Adam for sharing his expertise and his commitment to this body of work, which has always been in your academia. And from the bottom of my heart, my gratitude to you, Tracy, for going along and opening yourself up to this experience. You are a braver woman than I am. I would have been intimidated to be with this man. So thank you so much. So everybody, big hand, because this one was a serious one. Bravo to all of you.